for you, being where you are, what's it like being in this emerging market right now of a state that just it's happening? You're in it. You're watching it fluidly. Adult consumption. What are you seeing? What do you like? What do you don't like?
Yeah, Ohio is so fascinating. And it's very cool to see how I kind of started in this space in 2017. People were like, what do you mean you work in the cannabis industry in Ohio? There's nothing going on there. You probably hear the same thing in Wisconsin. And it's like, one day, it will be. And now that day is here. So that's pretty cool. Ohio is like a very attractive market for a lot of reasons. One, it's just like a very populous state. I think people underestimate how many people are in our state, but also just the diversity of the state as well. You kind of have rural areas, you have the big cities. It's kind of like also like landlocked by a few other states that haven't gone medical or adult use yet. So there's still opportunities there. So there's a lot to be excited about in Ohio, but there are also a lot of challenges. The legislature in our state isn't necessarily the most friendly to cannabis. Adult use was passed by referendum a few years ago, and since then there's been legislation that's been passed to kind of stymie the program a little bit. And thankfully it was stopped from doing much worse. But it makes it challenging. But another good thing about Ohio in some people's eyes is that it's a limited licensed market. I think we see what happens in states like Oklahoma, for example, or Michigan, where there's a big saturation of licenses, and that commoditization happens so fast. Yeah. In a limited license market, that is slowed a little. But it'll come for all of us at one point or another.
Well, yeah, but I also think, Cassie, to that point, that the framework of starting with limited licenses to begin anything, I'm a start small guy. That's how I do everything that I do. I don't, because if you bite off more than you can chew, you can't throw that up. Do you know what I'm saying?